If all you have is a pull-up bar, what should you be doing with it? In this video, we're going to be going over the absolute best exercises to include in your training. And I'll prove that all you need to train your whole body is a pull-up bar. Stop, you have a squat rack. Obviously, we need to start with pull-ups. This is a great back exercise and it's really easy to scale to your level. If you're still working on getting your full pull-up, start with these decline pull-ups. Or you can try training with a band. But I don't really like this variation all too much. Instead, you can also train on a lower bar with your feet on the ground to get some weight off of your hands. Or you can also scale up the exercise. You can try explosive pull-ups, trying to get the bar as low on your chest as possible. Or you can try training in an L-sit position. You can do it upside down to turn it into more of a row. And actually this variation is easier than a regular pull-up. Or you can try this single arm variation, which is actually just as easy as a regular pull-up. Changing the grip switches this to a chin up. This is very similar to a pull-up and has very similar progressions, but with more emphasis on the biceps. I do train these sometimes, but I definitely prefer a pull-up because my wrists just feel a little bit awkward in the chin up position. Not to be overlooked, the dead hang. This is a great exercise to build up your grip strength while also working your upper back, core, and forearms. You can also use this just as a stretch for your whole back. Just place your toes on the ground and then relax into it. And if you haven't tried this one, I would highly recommend it. Take your hand, turn it out so the grip is behind you, and then just relax down into that arm, putting weight into the shoulder. Or you can also take dead hangs into an active hang. Or what I really like to do, shrugs. I really like to use this to get better control over how my relaxed versus active shoulder positioning feels. And if you're looking for a little bit more of a challenge, you can also practice single arm hangs or turn it into a single arm shrug. Next up, everything abs. The great thing about having a pull-up bar is you can get a complete core workout with just the pull-up bar. Leg lifts are one of the absolute best exercises that you can do for your core. That is, if you do them correctly. And that means no swinging and no momentum to lift your legs up. And also trying to use as little shoulder movement as possible. And if you can't do these things with straight legs, definitely start with tucked legs. And if that's still too difficult, you can also work a single leg. And to work into obliques, you can also turn this into a twist, either starting with one leg at a time, or with both knees tucked, or with your legs straight. To scale up even more, you can train these around the worlds. Or my personal favorite, these windshield wipers. If all you have is a pull-up bar, it is a little bit more difficult to get those push day exercises. So that means anything chest, triceps, and shoulders. However, one great choice to include is a tricep dip. This is great for shoulder and tricep development, but it is a little bit more difficult to scale down if you're not quite there yet. The best way is to use a band to take off some of the weight. Another great move to get into the shoulders and chest is this sort of single arm push away that you can do at two different angles, either targeting more of the chest or targeting more of the shoulder and core. And this is actually a progression for human flag, but I think it's a great exercise in its own right. This next exercise is something that can be a little bit scary for some, and that is skin the cat. I really like this one because it's great for shoulder mobility, and it also works strength in your stretch position. Start by trying on a low bar first, where you can jump off at the bottom. Start in a tucked position and rotate only enough to where you know you can pull yourself back through. As you get practiced, you can dip lower and lower into the move. And start experimenting with straightening your legs. You can also just work on the back half, or even just work on the front half, depending on where you're finding the most difficulty. Next is something that is great as a confidence booster, and that's a pullover. It's actually much easier than you might think. And if you want my full tutorial, I have one over here somewhere. This is by no means an exhaustive list. I just wanted to include some of the moves that I personally use in my own training. Oh, and what about legs? Honestly, there's not much you can do for legs on a pull-up bar. You're much better off training your legs with the standard squat, lunge, and hip thrusts. However, there is actually one move that I use for legs, and this is something that I actually do in my training. Hanging from the bar, I pulse my heels downwards, engaging my glutes and hamstrings. But this is a very sport-specific exercise, so let me know in the comments if you can guess what sport this drill is good for. And also let me know what are your favorite exercises on the bar, and whether I missed any of your favorites. Until next time, bye! Oh, good job. Oh, good job. Can you, oh, good job. Look at her sit. Look at her sit. Oh, she deserves the world.